So we're going to try something new. I've got my mobile phone in a holder instead of my 4K webcam, which was always unsatisfactory. Now I want to try some extra light over there. Oh, that's nice. Well, the focus is good. It's hard to believe my mobile phone is a much better camera than a dedicated camera, but that's how it goes. I think part of it's post-processing and that as well, especially for stills. I mean, my SLR can still take a better shot, but the software in the camera phone just fills in all the blanks. Anyway, what I have set up here is a Greaseweazle, which is a USB to old school floppy drive converter. I have a genuine old Catweazle that sits on a Buddha IDE adapter for a Zorro slot in an Amiga 2000. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. If you know me and you want it, we can talk a price. I'm attached to it, but given I'm not going to put it to use. Anyway, this is just a regular power supply thing with a Molex plug on the end that I got. It was quite cheap and super easy. This is the Greaseweazle Model 4, which has the big USB-A connector on it. And this is a 5 1/4 inch double density floppy drive made by, there you go, we'll get some focus, Shugart, no less. This is the good stuff. Super excited about that. A generous generous gift. Not to the channel. The channel doesn't do that. Just to me. But I'm showing it here. So I had this plugged into the first connector before the twist, and it didn't work. I suspect it's got to do with jumpers and stuff, but I just fiddled around till it was right. So this is a Commodore 64 floppy disk. I've downloaded the software and opened it at a command line, and it reads like mad. Commodore 64 drives never that quick. Oh, not never. There were ways, but, and that's it. We're nearly there. And I have grabbed this D64 and just dropped it into a web emulator. I've done a reinstall, a new hard drive in my PC, and all my emulators aren't installed yet, so I just dropped it into a web window and boom, the game loaded. I blew it out with some compressed air, I lubricated the rails, I cleaned the heads. This should mean I can read and write floppy drives of any format, floppy disks of any format essentially, including double-sided discs for my Commodore 128 and its 1571, which is pretty exciting. So look, short video, I need to review the footage and see how this mobile phone goes. It may be that it's recording everything upside down or something. I don't know, but I have to say, if this works and sounds okay and all that, it's the way to go. I mean, I'm sort of quite tall and I'm over the top of the phone. I can see what it's doing all the time, what's in frame, so I'll have no excuses for framing errors. And there you go. I was going to make some gag about this being a Shugart thing, and you know, what would they know about establishing floppy disk drive standards and so on, but essentially, I mean, those little connectors you use for a 3.5 inch floppy drive, I think are actually called a Shugart connector. These are Molex, but those little mini ones on the 3.5 inch floppy drives are actually named after the company that made this. It's made in Japan. Lovely piece of kit. I found a 3D print model online. It'll take my printer a couple of days to make it, and it'll have to stand it on its end to fit on the in the envelope of the printer. But it will take this and a 3.5 inch floppy in an adapter. Geez, that is a big print. Whew. And this fellow with space for this to go in and USB to go in. And once I've printed that and fitted everything in the box, I'm sure nothing will work. But if it does, it'll mean I've got a box that can be used for processing floppies directly from a PC. Look, it's a nice to have. I don't absolutely need it. I can mount floppy disks on my 1541 Ultimate on the 64. I can mount floppy disks on a GoTech on the Amiga. The one thing this will give me, though, that is new is an ability to write double-sided, double-density disks for the 1571 on the Commodore 128. That's not something I've been able to do. My 1541 Ultimate is a model prior to the one. It's not a plus, so I can't mount 128 double-sided disk images on my 1541 Ultimate. I mean, I can control it over the network if I could, but it's not a plus. So the 1571's misbehaving a bit. I'm hoping when I recap the motherboard, I'll be able to bring it into calibration. At the moment, it's either banging its heads or it can't find zero, and I've tried to adjust it mechanically, which may have been a mistake, but it's pretty straightforward actually once you sort of understand the system and watch what happens. But I could never find the compromise spot, which may well mean there's a problem with a power supply problem or something. So that all needs to be recapped, starting from the back and working right through to the floppy drive controller. Anyway, you know, I don't know how many projects I'll get done in the end. In the end meaning, you know, before I'm too old to even try. But it's on my to-do list. I never meant to have one. It was, again, a very generous gift, and I'm super excited to have it. And it works great in Commodore 64 mode. And it's ultra cool, but I need to spend a week on it, and there's always a chance with these things when you're all said and done, you've made things a whole lot worse too, and I'm not sure I'm prepared to do that with the 128. I mean, I'm not qualified in this stuff. I'm decent with a soldering iron and stuff, but it's not my thing. But anyway, this Greaseweazle business, I had this cable. That's what a kind of hoarder I am. I've never had a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive that wasn't in a box and branded Commodore. Never. This is my first one. And yeah, double-sided, double density. None of that high density rubbish. This is where it's at, man. So I'll stop this recording, see how it all goes. If it's worked, I'll post it on the YouTubes. And maybe we'll come back with another short video if this whole 3D print thing works out, because that would be awesome. I mean, and did I mention this? This Greaseweazle is the PC emulators are set up so that I believe the Commodore ones are anyway, so that it's possible to just use this drive from within emulation transparently, as if it were an emulated 1541, which it partly is. The guy that did this, hats off. That's remarkable. I mean, they can be purchased for around the $50 mark, and they do something astounding. Really, really astounding. I don't have huge numbers of discs. I had a bunch more. I gave a bunch away. I sold some. I've probably still got 100 or more Commodore 64 discs, and same on Amiga. But it's just nice to be able to work with them. It's part of the experience of retro computing, you know. I mean, it's just, you know, that it's just a thing that I mean, you heard this reading, you know. I'll play it again, and then I'll sign off. Made in 1984, that drive. Oh, wow. I've always been over at the PC, the LEDs on the Greaseweazle. Oh yeah, activity and power. Activity was green. Marvellous. Anyways, this might improve the quality of the video on this channel significantly. We will see.